Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's Simple Healthy Solution. I'm Sarah Sharma, and today we're talking about tempeh. So if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I introduced you to this when we were talking about vegan Lent. So today I wanted to show you what to do with it. Now tempeh is a wonderful protein powerhouse, especially when you're looking to avoid animal proteins. It is very much like a sponge and will take on the flavor of whatever you cook it with. So today we are going to do something that resembles a puttanesca with eggplant, onions, mushrooms, and peppers. I'm going to roast these in the oven, and then I'm going to have my tempeh chopped up, and I'm going to mix it with tomato sauce. Tomato sauce that you can find that has no additives in it is a wonderful option. So this one has Italian whole peeled tomatoes, olive oil, onions, salt, garlic, basil, black pepper, and oregano. Not a single additive or preservative. That's what I love about these types of tomato sauces. So I'm going to chop up my tempeh and have it simmer in this tomato sauce so it starts to absorb the flavor, because remember, it is like a sponge, so it's going to take on the flavor of whatever I'm cooking it with. I'm going to roast these in the oven with some olive oil, salt, pepper, and parsley. It's going to go in my oven at 375, and then I'm going to mix them all together, add some olives and some capers. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you the final result. Here are our ingredients: tempeh, Kalamata olives, an eggplant, onion, tomato sauce, capers, and mushrooms and peppers. Here you can see I put all of my veggies into this gigantic bowl, which I love so much. It is the greatest prep bowl ever because it takes so much volume and keeps the mess in the bowl. I added a quarter cup of olive oil. I have half a teaspoon of salt. I'm not going crazy with the salt because remember, we're going to use olives and capers later. Black pepper and parsley. So half a teaspoon of the black pepper and a teaspoon of parsley. Now you could be generous with any type of herb or spice. If you want to use a crushed red pepper, you could do that. If you want to use jalapeno peppers, you can use that. I, don't like spice, so that's why I'm just sticking to some black pepper. Now I'm just going to coat it all so it gets nice and seasoned with my spices. You can also add turmeric, you could add cumin, coriander, whatever flavors you're looking for. But remember, I want that like tangy, like Italian, Mediterranean type of flavor today. So that's why I'm sticking with these basic spices. And then I'm going to put these all together in the oven. Now also, I did cube my eggplant and my mushrooms a little bit bigger so that they maintain their meatiness, because that'll be a really nice texture along with the tempeh once we mix it all together in the tomato sauce. So now that that is well mixed, I will put them into my sheet pan. Everything is in the sheet pan. Look at how pretty all those colors. Remember, we're always talking colors. And now it's going in the oven. Here is our tempeh. So as you can see, all those grains like bound together. I'm just gonna chop it up. But see, it's really easy to chop up. Nothing too crazy. I'm just gonna cube it so that there's chunks. Now you could make it as big or as small as you want, obviously. And then I'm going to put that all in my pan. All right, so it's all going in here. I'm going to add my tomato sauce, coat that, and then I'm just gonna put it on the stovetop and let it all simmer together, like I mentioned, until my vegetables are ready. And then I'm gonna add them all together. Our vegetables have been roasted in the oven. They were in there for about an hour because I really wanted them to be very soft before I added them to the sauce. Everything is blended in together, and I'm going to add half a cup of pitted Kalamata olives and a tablespoon of capers and mix that all together. Now you can obviously add more olives and capers if you want, but just remember that there is sodium. So you don't want to go too crazy with the salt, but I'm mixing that all together. And now you can serve this just as is with a little bit of protein pasta that we talked about. You can also do it with cauliflower rice or maybe some brown rice. You can also have it with a piece of whole grain bread. That would probably be really good to dip in the sauce. So you have many options to pair with our tempeh and eggplant puttanesca. All right, here is our finished product. So the tempeh has been sitting in the tomato sauce so that it absorbed the flavor of the tomato sauce. And we have our capers, our olives, our eggplant all in here. Delicious. It's totally hitting the spot. It's exactly the flavor profile I was looking for. Now remember, tempeh, you can flavor it with anything. So if you want to do an Asian flair, a Mexican flair, you can do whatever you want. I just wanted this puttanesca taste, and it is actually perfect. So that's this week's Simple Healthy Solution. I hope you will give it a try, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.